Space is a vacuum. Nobody can hear you scream in space because there's no air for sound waves to travel through. It's empty, devoid-ish anyway. But what if that wasn't the case? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I am your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I'm asking, what if there was oxygen in space? And I want you to know that actually, the answer is dramatic. Before we get into this video, I want to ask you guys if you would ever want to go to space. Let me know your spacey thoughts in the comments section down below. Don't get me wrong, I know that space is a terrifying place, but I would still be down to go. Not many humans have ever left the Earth, so I really feel like it would be a great privilege. While you're down there leaving me a comment, please do leave a thumbs up on this video and share it with a friend. If you want to check out the people that went into making this video, then check out the links in our description box, where we also have our source links. Stick around to the end because I'm going to be responding to some comments. So space. It's hard for us to get our heads around space because we are Earthlings. The only environment we know and can understand from first-hand experience is Earth. One of the things that we take for granted on planet Earth is our life giver, oxygen. Air on Earth is made up of 78% nitrogen, 0.93% argon, and 0.4% carbon dioxide, and a bunch of trace gases. The rest is oxygen, 21% oxygen to be precise, which is what we need to survive. If we were able to leave planet Earth, we would not be able to survive in space without a spacesuit for a number of reasons, but the main one is because there isn't any oxygen. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, space is a vacuum. That is hard to get our heads around because it's not what we know. What it means is that while there are gas particles out there in space, it's so vast that they're few and far between. Gases aren't dense enough to form molecules that determine air as we know it in space, but that doesn't mean that there isn't oxygen out there. There actually is. In 2011, NASA actually found some in its more complex form. At the time, they released a statement saying, individual atoms of oxygen are common in space, particularly around massive stars, but molecular oxygen, which makes up about 20% of the air we breathe, has eluded astronomers until now. It seems that the molecules were found in a star forming part of the constellation of Orion, and that they likely formed after starlight heated space dust and released water, which then broke down into detected oxygen molecules. But of course, that's far from being the entirety of space being filled with gas. If space was filled with oxygen, well actually, things would be very chaotic. Firstly, you would be able to hear stars. The reason we can't hear stars right now is because there's no oxygen or other gas particles to carry the sound. If there were, well then we would be listening to star music. Whilst that may sound like a lovely thought, it turns out that actually it would be unbearably loud. Any sound loud and long enough can damage your hearing, and we would all be in danger of going deaf if we could hear space. Standing at the front of a loud rock concert exposes you to 120 decibels of sound. The sound that we would hear from our sun on Earth would be 125 decibels, so loud. It would be very loud, and it would be very dark. Really dark. Right now, light reaches Earth pretty easily. It takes 8 minutes to get to us from the sun and allows A, for us to see what we're doing, and B, is crucial for photosynthesis and the like. If space was filled with oxygen, it would take longer for light to reach us, and it would be reflected out into space along the way as it moves and interacts with oxygen particles. It would be dark, which means that plant life would suffer, meaning our ability to harvest crop would be pretty obsolete. We'd go hungry. You know what would also be obsolete though? Us in general. The oxygen gas particles in space would respond to gravity in the same way that they do right now on Earth. The nearby particles would be attracted to the gravity of Earth, which would add to our already existing atmosphere. This would greatly increase the pressure for us. Sure, our ears might pop, but we might do too. We would likely be crushed by the extra weight. Speaking of extra weight, space itself would get heavy, and that isn't a good thing. Right now, celestial bodies in space can move without friction. That's one of the benefits of a vacuum. Add air, and celestial bodies, like planets in orbit around the sun, will suddenly be met with friction and resistance. This would majorly alter orbits. Locally, this friction would mean that the moon's orbit would be disrupted and that it would crash into Earth. Uh-oh. But really, that would be the least of our concerns. The Earth is rotating on its axis while orbiting the Sun. All of this movement against the new resistance of oxygen particles would actually strip away the entire surface of the Earth, which would mean that Earth could tear but would almost definitely catch on fire. Eventually, the Earth would spiral and fall into the Sun itself. Sucks for the Earth, but things in the wider bounds of space wouldn't be great either. Oxygen in all of space would mean that there is more gas mass in space than the weight of the stars. Theoretical physicist Jack Fraser explains what this means. He theorizes the oxygen would eventually contract under gravity into globular clusters, like when water forms out of the mist in a shower door. Eventually it would ignite as weird stars. Weird because most stars start out as hydrogen, not oxygen. The mass would probably be enough that even after ignition, the stars would continue to accrete material and turn into billions of new black holes, spreading uniformly across the universe. So what does this mean? This would destroy pretty much every structure in the known universe. Every star, planet and galaxy would be disrupted to the point of destruction. Oh, right then. Oxygen bad, vacuum good. I get it. That really does confirm things. So oxygen in space. To surmise, for us it would be loud, dark and dense until we were all stripped away from a crumbling Earth. But who cares about a bulldozed solar system when the entire universe is falling into a black hole? See? I told you it was dramatic. So that answers that. I honestly do really love it when the questions we ask have definitive answers. What do you guys think to this video? Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to let me know if you would ever go to space. I really honestly look forward to hearing your comments. Before I go, I'm gonna read some comments from a recent video I did. This also freaked me out. What if the Meganeuropsis didn't go extinct? Ugh. Exclusive Bullets YT said, "We die, that's the answer, saved 7 minutes." Actually, that was not the answer. You would know that if you'd watched the video. The answer was, less barbecues and less picnics. But like, if you want to over-dramatize things, then sure, what is life without a barbecue anyway? Thor's Domnek said, "That is so interesting how the Earth's atmosphere affects animal sizes. Honestly, Thors, I live to serve my friend." Or, well, actually I don't. I serve to live, and once I'm clocked out, honey, I am living. But I am glad to have brought you some intrigue through my crafting. Great comment from Dankest of Boys. Also, great username. They were responding to the question, what if they didn't go extinct? And they said, then neither would other giant arthropods, meaning that the atmosphere would still be juiced to the gills, meaning that life would have taken a different turn, meaning we might not be here, so win-win situation. Mate, I don't know how that's win-win. There'd be giant bugs and we wouldn't be alive, but like, I guess I like your comment anyway. I think it's better that we're here and there are no giant bugs. Good. Great. Thank you. So guys, we've reached the end of the video, which means it's my time to leave and your time to leave a thumbs up on this video. If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, then do so. We've got big answers coming your way every day. I'm your host, Rebecca Felgate. I'll catch you in the next video. But until then, please do stay curious, stay alert, and never ever stop questioning.